Achieving Together is a plan and a movement to end the HIV epidemic in Texas. We have a plan that was created by a community and for a community. The Texas HIV Syndicate is the community planning body for the state of Texas, and we took on the charge to lead the development of this plan. You are an essential part of this movement. We have a big vision and big goals, and we can achieve them if we work together. This presentation will give you an overview of the Achieving Together movement, how it was developed, and how we can move forward together. We have a vision that Texas will become a state where HIV is rare, and every person will have access to high-quality HIV services regardless of their age, race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, and socioeconomic circumstances. This vision was adapted by the Texas HIV Syndicate from the National HIV/AIDS Strategy. The time is now. That which we didn't imagine is now a reality. Things that were a prayer and a wish and a dream, now we're living it. Go back 20 years, where treatment was a cocktail of medication. Go back 10 years, where it took 2 weeks to get a test result. Today, we can get a test result in less than half an hour. We have a treatment regimen that is 1 pill a day. We are living at a point in history where we can and will end HIV as an epidemic. There is a foundation that's been built through years of experience, research, and dedicated work. We know what works and the support that is needed to be in place in order to get there. The plan has 4 aspirational goals. These goals are aligned with the national and international movements. We are starting with the foundation that's been created over the past 3+ decades and are building on it. Our goals are: reduce HIV transmission and acquisition. We reduce HIV exposure through behavioral interventions, condoms, and syringe exchange. We reduce HIV transmission through treatment as prevention, through antiretroviral therapy, and viral suppression. We reduce HIV acquisition through PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, and NPEP, non-occupational post-exposure prophylaxis. Increase viral suppression. For people who can achieve viral suppression, it improves long-term health outcomes and quality of life. Viral suppression also prevents HIV transmission. Eliminate health disparities. Some people are more likely to be affected by HIV because they are a part of a group that does not have access to the same resources as others. No one should be denied the possibility of being healthy because of their identity. Cultivate a stigma-free climate. Stigma is a social norm that is reinforced by societal messages, the language we use, and the way we interact. We can cultivate a stigma-free climate through awareness and understanding of specific issues, empowering communities, promoting inclusive language and messages, and creating equitable systems. Recent biomedical advances have changed the landscape and the face of HIV. These tools include testing, PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, NPEP, non-occupational post-exposure prophylaxis, antiretroviral therapy, treatment as prevention. More will be developed in the future. Now, it's a matter of creating the access and support for the use of these tools. Technology has changed how we live, work, and communicate. We don't fully understand the impact that all of this will have. We need to be open to learning about how to use technology to close gaps and tighten networks. No one person or organization can end the HIV epidemic. We have an energized workforce of hundreds of people with a range of background, skills, and experience. We have advocates who are passionate and opinionated. When we bring together everyone's unique gifts and talents and interests, we can create a synergy that is more than the sum of its parts. The process and conversations to develop Achieving Together began at the October 2017 Texas HIV Syndicate meeting in Austin, Texas. The planning group included 111 Texas HIV Syndicate members and a 35-member steering committee. Between November 2017 and February 2018, 5 work groups and the steering committee met monthly to develop the plan framework. Goals, guiding principles, areas of focus, aspirations, and recommended actions were developed. A planning summit was convened in Austin in January 2018 to share perspectives and create consensus around the developing concepts and vision of the plan. Over the course of 6 months, community leaders from the planning group contributed over 1,000 person-hours in the development of this plan. The Achieving Together movement is about supporting people who are living with HIV and preventing others from getting it. We are writing a new story about HIV in Texas. We are imagining how to create systems that allow all people to thrive. It's a story of connection and support. It's about people and organizations working together to create stigma-free environments that will allow everyone to access the services they need to reach their health and wellness goals. A plan for ending the HIV epidemic in Texas must be flexible, adaptable, and actionable in order to fit the needs of communities across the state. At the same time, the plan must also chart the course for everyone to be moving in the same direction. Guiding principles offer a tool for planning in complex and fast-changing times. Our guiding principles are social justice, equity, integration, empowerment, advocacy, and community. The Texas HIV Syndicate identified 6 areas to focus attention and advocacy in order to reach the goals of the plan. In identifying the focus areas, the question for the planning body was, where do we need to focus our work and attention in order to reach our goals? We believe that focused attention and dedicated work in these 6 areas will have a big impact on our goals. All of this work is connected and there is no hierarchy. We need to work across all of these areas to have the impact we need to end the HIV epidemic. The 2 circles at the top represent the work that needs to be done to create safe and supportive environments to thrive. Cultivating a stigma-free climate of appreciation and inclusion is about changing social norms. Addressing mental health, substance use, housing, and criminal justice is about addressing the barriers that keep people from reaching their wellness goals. The 2 circles at the bottom represent the foundation of our work in HIV prevention, treatment, and care. Promoting the continuum of prevention, care, and treatment, and making sure that the services offered across the continuum are culturally appropriate and community guided. The 2 circles on the left and right side represent the connections that need to be made and sustained across people, organizations, systems, and communities. Connecting clients, providers, and communities across the state to increase access, collaborating, cooperating, and coordinating across systems so that everyone is playing their part and creating a synergy where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. The plan will use these measures to track success. With all of these measures, we are striving for equity among populations most impacted by HIV. Our goal by 2030 is for 90% of people living with HIV to know their status, 90% of people living with HIV who know their status to be on antiretroviral therapy, 90% of those on antiretroviral therapy to be virally suppressed, and a 50% decrease in HIV incidence. We also want to increase the number of people who engage in HIV prevention services. These measures also align with national and international movements like Fast Track Cities. We want to create forward momentum on the things we can measure directly, and we also recognize that those are not the only things that matter. We cannot end the HIV epidemic without increasing awareness, addressing stigma, and working to end institutionalized racism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia. You are an essential part of this. As you can see, we have big goals and big plans. We can do this if we work together. Each person has their own part to play. You may think your part is small, but a lot of small actions can create a big shift. Think about how small drops of water form together into a stream, grow into a river, and eventually flow into the ocean. Each drop of that water is essential to creating the sea. We want you to be curious about how you can learn more and become connected to the Achieving Together plan and be a part of the movement. Each person and organization has something they can do that will create momentum toward our goals. Where can you start? What are the gifts and strengths you have to bring to this movement? What are you already doing that will help fuel the momentum?